the game is very deep, very, very deep.
Yeah, Tony, I agree with you on that. For over 30 years now, from Shooting Stars to Gabros to Julius Berger, Chief Taiwo Ogunjobi, has seen it all.
Not to prime.
Yeah, not to prime as the chairman. So he's eminently qualified for that position. And he's versatile, he's experienced in continental games. So I think that
the politics of the game as well.
So that has given him, made him, given him the edge. So let's see how it goes when he comes up against other
credible
top contenders.
All right, so that's the profile of Taiwo Ogunjobi. Let's check out the profile of the second candidate that we're bringing to you tonight, Mike Umeh. Dumnodi, you have schooled in Enugu, you know the Anambra-Enugu axis. Mike Umeh, I mean, is as synonymous to football as football itself. Is a man that is deeply involved in the game.
Well, he's a businessman, no doubt about that. He runs a business, he runs an hotel too, successfully. He's a businessman, a seasoned football administrator, he's FA chairman in Anambra State, the first vice president of the NFF, the outgoing board.
Yeah, the outgoing board.
The outgoing board, and of course, he's a man that has been the height of the storm in the last 2 months, even though he has been acting chairman of the NFF. I don't know how that it counts for him, okay. But I like you mentioned in the opening, you said these people are credible. We have it's a pool of experienced people, seasoned football administrators. It's going to be highly competitive, I'm seeing these elections as one of those elections that is going to be too close to call. Even we're likely going to expect some last-minute withdrawals or alignment, realignment. We're going to expect that. But so far, so good. We're seeing things moving on in the proper direction, in the right way, as course going in line with what FIFA directed that should be done. And for Mike Umeh, how his chances will go, well, it depends on how well he's able to convince the delegates, 44 of them. We are not going to vote. We are not going to vote. So we just state what we want to state, but the delegate knows who is best for Nigerian football. A lot of people will say delegates may be wrong, but it's the standard.
All right, so those are the profiles of two of those candidates that we've brought to you tonight, Taiwo Ogunjobi and Mike Umeh. Tomorrow we'll continue with another two, and we will continue until we completely look at all the candidates vying to be the president of the Nigeria Football Federation. All right, let's come to club football now very quickly, because that has also been one issue that we feel needs urgent attention in Nigeria. Club football, welfare of players, and it is very, very key. Let's go to Kwara, Ilorin, Kwara State. Dumnodi, there's a new letter from FIFA. This time is not to the NFF. Well, to the NFF, but not about the political situation in the Nigerian Football Federation. It's about Kwara United and a certain Malian player. You've been following the story. Dumnodi, fill us in on what this letter is about from FIFA and what needs to be done to avert Kwara United facing the full wrath of the law.
It's from the FIFA Dispute Resolution Chamber. They investigated, the guy had a protest against Kwara United that he's not been paid a certain amount of money, provided evidence of the money that has been paid, and the FIFA is asking Kwara United to provide evidence of the money that these guys have been paid a certain amount of money if they have evidence. And FIFA is saying they give a date. They gave the deadline. October 2. That's on Thursday next week. Thursday next week. If they don't do that, then they wait
Kwara United have to pay this player. That's what FIFA is saying.
Abdullahi Gindo. He's a Malian.
Okay.
He plays for Bayelsa United 2 seasons ago. He's now at Sunshine Stars, moved to Sunshine Stars, currently playing in Nigeria.
He's still playing in Nigeria?
He's still playing in Nigeria. He's a Malian, and of course, they gave Kwara United until Thursday, October 2nd, 2014, to present evidence
that they have paid him.
They paid this player. If not, then their matter will be referred to the disciplinary committee of FIFA. Then whatever comes out of it, then Kwara United will be able to bear the consequences of that decision. So, and of course, I think, well, for me, it's still...
Hold your thoughts, Dumnodi. Onye, let me bring you in here, because yesterday we spoke extensively about welfare of players, salaries being owed players. A club is owing 12 months, another one is owing 6 months, another one is owing 5 months. This is a classic example of what would happen if it is not nipped in the bud on time. You force FIFA to come hard on clubs and wield the big stick, which could mean expulsion from league football.
Well, Tony, desperate situation demands desperate measures. I think this is a good development. I've seen some players take laws into their hands. You know, when they leave a club, perhaps the former club coming to play their new club, they now
arrange for policemen to
engage
hold them
services of thugs or police or security agencies, you know, to harass the clubs. That's not the way to go. This Malian, a foreigner, incidentally, has shown our players the way to go. When you are joining a club, make sure you get all the papers documented.
Sign a proper contract.
Get a legal advice if needs be. Sign a proper contract so that anytime the club defaults, you take it up and take it to the highest level. This is the way to go. Because if you don't do that, the clubs know that you don't have evidence against them. They can decide to owe you for eternity and call your bluff. But when they know that you have evidence, they will pay you your money. There are some players that I know in the Nigerian league that the clubs don't owe because they do it the proper way.
They go with their lawyers.
They go with their lawyers, they sign a contract, documents, and make sure that everything is sorted out and put down in black and white.
Before we close
our discussion,
is a warning to Kwara United
because they are coming to the Premier League next season.
They are on the verge.
That decision,
they are automatically expelled from the
league. So it means no promotion. So all the fight and the battles and the away victories and the celebration and the pre-celebration.
Interestingly, we had Yinka Wolewa, the media officer of Kwara United, on the show a couple of days ago. But they have to do something very quickly.
Tomorrow will be 7 days to the deadline.
Yeah, but let's highlight something very quickly. The NFF Arbitration Committee in 2010 gave an award to players that were owed some amount of money. The Association of Professional Footballers of Nigeria will tell us up till today that the award hasn't been implemented. That's a big problem on its own. The president of the Nigerian Football Federation, Alhaji Aminu Megeri, returned today from a meeting of the Player Status Committee. And interestingly, in Nigeria, we still have challenges putting that kind of committee in place and implementing their awards and judgments on players being owed monies and salaries.
Impunity, that's the word. Because the defaulting clubs have not been sanctioned. If one or two clubs have been made to face the wrath, have been sanctioned, then the others will now use one or two clubs as a deterrent. The other clubs will, sit up. That's the problem. When you take a decision, you make a pronouncement, a ruling is made, and there is no sanction attached to it, then the clubs will say, okay, after all, that has been the practice in the past.
We can get away with it.
Get away with it. But with this one, with this issue now, all the clubs will start to sit up. You have to pay your players. For goodness sake, these players travel around the country, they play 90 minutes, they risk their lives. You have to pay.
And then you owe them for as much as 12 months in the case of Kaduna United. And Dum Nodi raised the point of the president of AFCON, Dairu Sadi, is the technical director of Kaduna United, owing their players 12 months.
So who will bear the cut?
Who bears the cut?
It's a big issue.
It's a big issue.
And like Oyin mentioned, club has to be sanctioned. If club are not sanctioned, then I think the Malian is trying to show Nigerian players the best way to go.
The way forward.
Because now, Kwara United had no option than to respect what FIFA is saying.
And pay before
pay this player because they know the consequences. So if it is Nigeria, just an arbitration award of 2010, 4 years after, none have been implemented. That's it. If that matter goes to FIFA, that's the matter. I can guarantee that 90% of the club in the Premier League will not play league next season.
Because the hammer will fall on them.
The hammer will fall on them. And I think AFCON should take this matter to FIFA and they will investigate to the point. If the players have evidence, I have problem with some of these players. They move from club to club to club.
Without evidence.
No evidence.
I think
some of them, they've converted their evidence to clearance. You know what they do? For move to another club, instead of collecting the money, you convert your evidence.
Let's talk about discussion very quickly. The challenge, I think, for the LMC is, number one, proper representation of players, proper contract. No business is done with any player if you don't bring a FIFA or a licensed agent. Because you're able to document whatever transactions you have with clubs. Crown, Taraba United, Kaduna United, a lot of stories are going around.
The players too should take their destinies into their hands. Where I come from, when you are roasting
another proverb.
When you are roasting a yam, you have to be there. Because if you are not there, the man who is there he that put your yam aside,
and he's roasting his own,
or your yam gets burnt. So the players have to take their destinies into their hands. We have been saying this every time that they must ensure that the proper things are done. So, because this is their lives. They play football to earn a living, and some of these administrators are feeding fat. So the reverse is now the case.
The players are suffering.
The players are suffering.
Administrators are feeding fat. The spokesman of the media officer of Kwara United, Yinka Wolewa, told us that they had paid Dan Malian. But for FIFA to still insist means they want documentary evidence.
No, FIFA is saying present evidence that you have paid. Because they've written to, I know they've written to FIFA that they paid this player. Okay, present evidence
that you have paid this
player.
I don't
know how they would do that. I don't know how convincing